morning everyone and welcome back to my channel. And yes, there's Keisha. She want to be a part of this video. So anyways, if you're new here, I'm Amira, and today the point of this video, I wanted to give you guys a quick update. I know it's been a minute since I last uploaded, but there is definitely a reason for that, and there's actually a couple. So I'm gonna go over all of it. So basically, last year around November, December, one of the biggest things that happened in my life is that my family came over to visit me. It was really good to see them after, I think it's 3 years. Literally, the last time they met me, it was literally a few months before the pandemic came. So that was like at the end of 2019, early 2020. And so I haven't seen them since then, since this whole craziness. And so, of course, it's definitely different. I talk to them, all the time via FaceTime, but it's different to have that in-person interaction, being able to hold them in my arms. So that was good. I flew out my family from Malaysia, my parents and my little brother, all the way here, and we got to spend about a month just living with me, as well as my sister, as you all know, Sabrina from Korea. So we all got to see a lot of really cool places. I brought them around town. I brought them to Solvang, which is a really cute Dutch kind of city in the middle of the desert. I brought them to go see alpacas and llamas, and we went, I think there was so much more that I can't even think about right now, but in the midst of all that, family time and just bonding time, that was also another big thing. So the other reason why they're here, aside from spending quality time with me, is that I was getting married. And so it was hectic planning that, especially being in a foreign country. So I'm Malaysian and I've lived in the US for about 8 years now. And so I definitely wanted to, get married I feel like at this point, California is, since I've spent a quarter of my life here, it's definitely one of the places that I can call home, and I wanted to have this reunion at my place. And of course, my now husband and I, we've been seeing each other for a few years now, and we just didn't we didn't know when we would be able to come home to Malaysia, and we wouldn't know when we'll be able to tie the knot. So we thought, let's have like a small wedding here at the place that we both met, which is Pasadena. And also, since both our families are also coming to visit us at around the same time, let's find a date where both their visits overlap, and that happened to be in January. And so picking the date, as I guess you all know by now, we got married on January 22nd, 2022. I picked it out just because it's a beautiful date. I feel like it's just 1/22/2022, and that's just Keisha. She all that racket right now is just Keisha in her box. Let me show you in a moment. So I recently made a purchase from Target, and I haven't been able to deconstruct the box because Keisha loves it so much. So we bring her on like a little rocket spaceship kind of flight every single morning. She'll definitely request for it. So we're just leaving the box here by the side. As you can see, she's super comfortable. Thank you, baby. No, I don't need to use my hair, but yes, as you can see, she is super comfortable, more comfortable than any of the cat did. Anyway, back to where I was. So as I mentioned, we got married on January 22nd in our beautiful town of Pasadena, California, and it's just a whole rigmarole of putting together a wedding in a foreign country. It is really much different, just in terms of even just not small things, but one of the major things was finding food caterers, where we had to find halal caterers. That was one big thing that was pretty complicated to get. But there's also, just so many other things in terms of planning a wedding. We didn't have a wedding planner. I was playing the role of wedding planner slash bride, and so, I mean, it was a lot. So if you wanted me to go into more detail on how I planned my wedding, I put together basically the whole wedding in 1 month, and that includes getting all the vendors, the event decorator, the caterer, finding a venue, creating that guest list, sending out invites, all of that, all within a month. And all I had was just me and an Excel sheet. So if you're interested to find out more details on that, I'll be more than happy to make a video about that. And I'm also planning to show you guys a little snippet of my wedding right here.
Presence of two witnesses
in the presence of two witnesses
and many others,
and many others,
I promise to be her faithful husband.
I promise to be her faithful husband.
So aside from those two big things already going on between the end of the year to like early of 2022, which is my family coming and me getting married, I also actually got a new job, and that is definitely a big change for me. I think I've made another video previously talking about all the different kind of jobs that I had. And this is a totally new one. I am now a project engineer. I know I graduated with a chemical engineering degree, but I never thought I would actually practice as an engineer. But here we are. This is what God has intended, and this is what I'm doing now. So I'm a project engineer at a consulting firm in downtown LA. It's a very diverse company with, I just met people with so many different skill sets and different backgrounds. It's just it's a really good feeling. It's a really good experience overall for me, and I think this next step, it definitely helps me in the growth of just myself, as well as my career. And this was just a good step. So one of the reasons that I left my old job as a project manager at it was a pharmaceutical consulting company. One of the reasons was because I felt pretty much stuck. I didn't feel like I was going anywhere. The firm itself, it wasn't doing very well. It just started to face the impacts of pandemic, so it was, kind of downsizing. I managed to survive the multiple rounds of downsizing, but I didn't want to be next. And also at that point, just because due to the financial impacts, they kind of, had to let go of some people. But what happened is the workload of those people got transferred to me. And so I was at that point doing jobs of, 3-4 people who was let go. And I just felt burnt out. I felt like I was going nowhere. I was doing all this work without seeing any future. I mean, I talked to my manager, I talked to the boss, to the CEO of the company about, what are the next steps for me? And they kept on, it was just not satisfying. Their answers were not satisfying to me. It just felt like if I had stayed there any longer, I wouldn't go anywhere. And so I felt that it was best for me to move on and just find something new, and that's why I landed the role as a project engineer. And so that wraps up my update for today. This was meant to be a very quick and short video. If you have any comments, please do leave them down here. If you have anything that you want me to talk about further, let me know in the comments. Give me a like and subscribe, and I hope to see you all in the next few weeks. All right, bye.